Hello everyone! Last week, we talked about the death of Prince Liam, how the Horde forced the people of Gilneas to evacuate, and their perilous journey to the land of the Kaldorei. Tyrande, Malfurion and the Night Elves, they welcome Genn and his people, partially because Malfurion feels responsible for the curse that plagues them, but welcoming them back into the Alliance, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. Gilneas built a big wall to separate itself from the Alliance, thinking that they could do it all on their own, and their gates as well as their hearts remained closed, even when Lordaeron begged them for aid. Tyrande has received a vision from Elune, a vision which shows her that Gul'dan is chosen one, Varian Rin, also known as Lo'Gush. He's meant to become the High King of the Grand Alliance. Plenty of things to accomplish, so the leaders of the Alliance, or their chosen representatives, they're called for a summit. As Greymane talks with Malfurion, he lets him know that he believes the summit will be a chance for all of them to judge him for his foolish mistakes. But the Archdruid has been in contact with several of them, and they understand the necessities of the time. They understand that you regret all that happened. They also can appreciate what you and your people can offer. The Worgen form a double-edged sword, but their people are more and more in control, and on top of all of that, Stormwind has confirmed that they're coming. This news lightens the king's heart. It means that there is a chance. If Varian is coming, it must mean that he's willing to let bygones be bygones. They hold a little banquet before the summit, and while Stormwind is late for the banquet, Genn still wants to speak to all those present. I'll make this short. I made some terrible decisions years ago. I abandoned the Alliance for what I thought was the right course for my people. That proved to be a sorry mistake. He cleared his throat. What I'm saying is that I thank you all for giving us this second chance. With that, Genn bowed to the other guests, then led his party to where they were to be seated. Varian eventually showed up and he tossed some massive insults at Genn. He remembers clearly what Gilneas has done or didn't do, and while it was true that Stormwind had not directly participated in the Third War, it had been a strong supporter of the Alliance, even when Varian had to deal with a whole lot of things himself. Things like being split into two people by Onyxia, one part of him fighting as a gladiator slave for the orcs and earning the nickname Lo'Gush. Things like being reformed into one single being again, but still being very much out of balance. It was almost like there were two sides to him, and his fury sometimes took control, very much like it happened to the Worgen. All the same, Stormwind stood with the Alliance while Gilneas had not, but Varian did promise Malfurion that he would give the Worgen a fair consideration. So it was that on the day of the summit, Gilneas presented itself to the members of the Alliance, offering its might to any and all who need it. No truer brother will there be to any in their time of distress, and lest anyone think of us weak in battle, of being unable to defend our brothers beside us, we now hope to dispel that misconception. With that, Genn and his people transformed. The Worgen in all their might and fury stood before the Alliance, powerful and without the need to weapons to fight. We humbly submit ourselves before our brethren for full membership in the Alliance. They decided to vote immediately. Chorus of eyes and applause rose from the crowd. Things were looking really good for the hopes and dreams of re-entering the Alliance. But then Varian Rin stood up. Everyone knows that there's no love-lust between Stormwind and Gilneas. Everyone knows why. Utter quiet fell upon the assembly. Genn's expression was unreadable, and he waited for Varian to go on, but his ears lay flat in concern. The benefits that an ally such as Gilneas offer us, it's obvious. While our skills in combat more than match those of the orcs and their allies, there's always been a hunger that the Horde has thrived upon that we, so civilized, no longer seem to have. The Worgen offer us that righteous hunger to overcome all obstacles in battle, to keep the Alliance from splintering, or merely sitting back as the orcs take one land after another. Genn's eyes widened, and even Malfurion could not help but feel his hope stir at such a speech. I considered damned long and hard on this. I promise you, such an ally can help us easily hold the Horde's ambitions at bay, maybe even push them back. The king indicated Genn and the Gilneans. An ally of such honor, of such courage, I'd be more than pleased to fight beside. His words brought cheer. Even the Worgen could no longer restrain themselves, several of the younger ones giving out short howls. Varian now turned his attention to Malfurion. Archdruids, you called before a vote by acclamation. A vote I interrupted. My apologies for letting it happen. I'd meant to ask to speak sooner. Smiling, Malfurion answered. It would be happy to call for it again, King Varian. That won't be necessary. The human monarch's expression went through a stunning transformation. A dark awe spread over it as Varian eyed Genn Greymane. He spat in the Gilnean's direction. Calling for it again would be a waste of time. The Lord of Stormwind snarled at his counterpart below. For I'd never give consent to allow these mongrels into the Alliance. Shouts of consternation erupted, especially amongst the Worgen. The one of us Edric took a step toward Varian, but Genn grabbed the young warrior's shoulder and pulled him back. The two Worgen bared their teeth at one another, Edric quickly becoming cowed. Honor and trust. These are what the Alliance needs. Not these beasts that even when they paraded around as men were lacking in both. What happens if they choose to cut themselves off us once more? Will they even bother to give us a warning? Can we trust them to even do that? Varian snapped his fingers, and his retinue joined him on their feet, Anduin last and most hesitant. As I've already said to many, I find nothing worthy, nothing honorable in this pack of hounds. And so, I will never vote aye to their bishop back into the fold. And with that, Varian led Stormwind out of the summit, as chaos erupted amongst the other representatives, and Malfurion Stormrage watched all his hopes crumble before his eyes. As you can tell, Varian isn't too happy with the Gilneans, and the summit seems to be a bust, but the loose vision had showed him that Varian was the one, and Malfurion was not about to give up. Reports had come in about Garrosh and the Horde attacking within Ashenvale, but the Varian, who had just had a massive fight with Anduin, he started to drink away his sorrows, and all of that meant very little right now. He had lost the one thing that meant the world to him, the rage and fury that had kept him alive in the arena. It seemed to destroy everything worth living, and a solution had to be found. It was Malfurion who suggested to the king, rather than staying here and drinking further, that he should join him for a hunt. This actually interested Varian, something to focus his mind on, and as luck would have it, the appointed hunting grounds by Malfurion, they were also the hunting grounds of the Worgen. Greymane and Varian ran into each other and ended up in a contest on who was the better hunter. Varian wanted to win and embarrass Genn in front of his own people. The Gilneans would see that their vaunted leader was still a failure who would only bring them further to ruin. They were tracking down a boar, which led them right in front of a big bear, ready to maul them to pieces, and nothing bonds people better together than fighting for their lives. Together, the King of Stormwind and the King of Gilneas, they were able to bring the mighty beast down. A quick blow. Varian compliment again. I simply finished your work. The Gilnean ruler returned. This kill is yours. The hunt is yours. Varian shook his head. Hardly. I was hunting a boar. A man who hunts a rabbit and brings down a deer is applauded. A man who hunts a boar and brings down a bear should be acclaimed. And with that, Genn looked to the sky and unleashed a powerful howl. A howl that honored both the kill and the one who made it. His call was taken up by the other Worgen, all saluting the skills of the King of Stormwind. Genn finally finished, the howls of his followers ending with his. He faced his counterpart again, only Varian was no longer there. Varian did not believe that he deserved the honor they were giving him, so he left them to think, to reconsider his past assumptions about the Gilneans, for his love for his son, his people, and for his hopes for redemption. There were others struggling hard with the darker side of the nature, perhaps even in a way that he never had, and therefore he needed the help of Greymane. Genn was a little bit confused at first. They had no lands or gold to offer. Varian had everything, but that wasn't true. The Worgen had learned to deal with their ferocity, learned to control the fury of the animal inside, and Varian needed help with controlling his. Genn not only nodded in understanding, but even showed some sympathy rather than disdain. He led Varian to the ritual site, where so many Worgen had gone before, and he would be the one to guide Varian into the ritual. They sat down together, as the king plunged himself in his memories, those points most relevant to his life, and the choice he made because of them, for good or for ill. With the ritual done, what had started when two became one, now has been finished, as Varian takes control of his inner demons, and he becomes the true champion of Lo'Gosh. He becomes the champion of Gul'dan. Gul'dan, Genn muttered, staring. Lo'Gosh. His aura. It surrounds you so completely. Around them, the ears of the other Worgen flattened, but in awe, not in fear. Gul'dan truly touches your heart, your soul, Genn muttered. The wolf honors you, and so do we. And through Gul'dan, Lo'Gosh, and himself, Varian knew what had to be done next. I've been reckless, driven by not only bitterness from losing so many things, so many people of importance to me, but also the fear of losing what little I still cherish, like my son. Varian said again, and the other Worgen. But now I understand. Azeroth needs us, all of you and me. We are what we've become in order to help it. And help it we must. Silence reigned around him. Finally, Genn asked, what would you have us do? Varian knew of only one thing. We follow our destiny together, and we follow it to Ashenvale. With speed that should not have been possible for a human, with stamina unlike he ever had, Varian Rin, champion of Lo'Gosh, led Genn and the Worgen into battle with Garrosh and the Horde at Ashenvale. Their support turned the tide of battle around, and Garrosh was forced to retreat, but not ready to give up on his dreams of conquering the world for the Horde. The Alliance then reconvened to vote once again on the fate of the Gilneans and their acceptance within the Alliance. This time, all voices, including that of Varian, they voted aye, to which the Worgen howled of pleasure. The faction leaders cheered, and Tyrande and Malfurion watched as the vision granted by Elune had come true. From that moment on, Greymane, Gilneas and the Worgen, they're part of the Alliance, whereas Greymane joins Varian in Stormwind. Gwen Armstead, former mayor of Duskhaven, she takes his place in Darnassus. Now the curse of introducing a new race and not really giving them much story afterwards, that also fell upon Genn the Worgen, since he doesn't have a major impact for the story, besides making an appearance here and there. Like the time where the Horde had struck out at Fedamore, and the Alliance made plans to destroy the Horse Blockade, or during the Hollow's End celebration, or the time where the Alliance had to decide if they were going to use the power of the Shaft from Pandaria, which Varian refused. Now, he wasn't there at the end of Siege of Orgrimmar, but he was present during the 12th Garrosh. He chose to be in his Worgen form, a choice that spoke volumes. He both acknowledged to the Horde present that at least some of the Alliance understood what it was like to taste the more primal side of nature, and had told his fellow Alliance members that he was not ashamed of it. It wouldn't be until Legion, when Genn got his time in the spotlight once again, as alternate Gul'dan travels to the Tomb of Sargeras, and he opens up a rift which let the Legion come through and invade Azeroth once again. Khadgar and Maiev, they do try to stop him, but they fail, to which Khadgar goes about warning the world of this threat. The Alliance and Horde rise up and quickly send an initial strike force led by Varian Wrynn and Sylvanas Windrunner, with reinforcements joining them as soon as possible at the Broken Shore. Genn also joins us in this battle, as each faction makes its way through armies of demons, disconnecting the gateways and kicking their butts off the planet. As you can imagine, working together with the Horde and especially Sylvanas, that's not easy for Genn. He lost his son and his city to them, but still, he follows Varian into the jaws of hell. Tyrion Fordring is taken out. We tag team Croesus, after which the Alliance and Horde move forward for the final confrontation.
We'll take the ridge and cover your flank.
Sylvanas, thank you.
Good luck, Varian.
And you.
As the Alliance confronts Gul'dan directly, the Horde tries to cover their flank, but the forces that they face on the ridge, they're destroying them. 3 Legion ships are constantly shooting out their fell beams, while demonic forces keep pouring out of the portal.
There are too many of them.
Everyone, pull back to me! We make our stand here!
The Alliance isn't having any better luck. Small waves of demons are sent out first, but the portal created gives Gul'dan access to the near limitless might of the Legion. This is a Legion invasion unlike any we've seen before, and although the Alliance forces seem to be vastly outnumbered, Varian still thinks that a victory is possible. He calls out the orders, but up above, Sylvanas and the Horde have a better view of the battle down below, and they're unable to hold their ground.
Coming from behind! Goblin of Flame!
War Chief!
Do not let the Horde die this day. Victory is ours! Hold fast! Mercator! We finish this now! Call in the gunship!
Way ahead of you, sir! Triangulating our positions right now!
Get! Oh Lord! Push forward! And get Windrunner's archers to clear the skies! I knew it! I knew we couldn't trust her! Without the Horde, we'll be overrun! We must retreat! Get everyone to the gunship! Everyone! Fall back! Take this to my son.
You will be remembered as the king who sacrificed his life for nothing.
For the Alliance.
Keep in mind that Genn doesn't have the bird eye view as we do. He doesn't know what went down up on the ridge with the hordes. To him, it seems like they were abandoned, left to die by the Banshee Queen, who already took so much. The loss of his king, his friend, Gul'dan's chosen, it really hurts. He can't make himself to face the casket or Anduin right now, so we're asked to deliver the letter written by his father. With the death of the king, a great burden is now placed upon Anduin's shoulders. His father was a great strategist, yet his armies crumbled at the broken shore. How can he succeed where the wolf had failed? But he does not stand alone. There are many leaders to help him through this, some that believe that we must keep working together, while others, they want to see the Horde pay for their treachery. Greymane especially is ready to track down his prey, to make the now war chief Sylvanas Windrunner pay. This opportunity would present itself after we kick some more demon booty, transported Gul'dan to the Broken Isles, picked up her artifacts, and made ready to collect the pillars of creation scattered across the Isles.
3 days ago, the Forsaken Fleet set sail from Durotar, heading straight for the Broken Isles. We think Sylvanas Windrunner herself may be among them. We are to track them from a safe distance. We may engage, but only if the situation demands. I strongly suspect the situation will demand it.
It had better. I am not in the habit of tracking prey unless I intend on killing it.
Interesting side note is that while questing in Azsuna, both the Horde and the Alliance, they can find the captain's log of the Queen's reprisal. It talks about how they were making their way to Stormheim, got separated by a massive storm, and that the Queen is going to steal the very power of the V for herself, and V being the Valkyr. This log is then brought back, with the Horde covering it up, and the Alliance bringing this information to Greymane. This means that it's possible that Greymane and the Alliance, that they already had an idea of what Sylvanas was trying to do, and you might say, hang on a minute, you could level in any order you wanted to, so you might find this log after Stormheim. This is definitely true, but in an interview they said that the zone scaling, it didn't come in until pretty late in the development cycle of Legion, and the intended flow was Azsuna, followed by Val'sharah, Stormheim, and then High Mountain. All the same, it's not like Greymane needed a lot of motivation to strike out at the Horde, which is exactly what they do when they locate the Horde fleets. The Alliance target is the Banshee Queen herself, so they fly down and search the ships, eventually ending up on a flagship where the captain is interrogated.
Wait! She may have information!
You're too late. The Dark Lady is already gone.
The Banshee Queen is long gone as Horde players join Nafanos Blightcaller, champion of the Banshee Queen, in a counterattack.
The mixture in these vials is extremely volatile. Once you pop the cork, there's no containing it. Meet me on deck when the vials are in place. There is someone here I want to kill personally.
So many bats!
They're trying to bring the ship down from the inside! Hero! Get those chemical flares away from the ammo! It's no use! The ammunition has caught fire!
For the
Quickly,
Dark
up the
Lady!
stairs!
Monsters! You have no place in this world!
You call us monsters? How rich!
Sylvanas and Greymane, they go at each other, but the sky fire blows up and crashes out of the sky. The Alliance and Horde are separated, and I have to put the battle on hold while they deal with the damage done from their fight in the sky. We can see Greymane knocked out cold, but most of our troops are up and running, and we need to send out a distress signal to the Alliance Navy. With the signal sent out, the Alliance quickly evacuates the Grey Watch, and after that we focus our efforts on finding the Aegis of Agramar, one of those pillars of creation. During that quest, we go through several trials, and for one of these trials, we seek the judgment of Ashildir, Queen of the Valkyria. The problem, however, is that Runeseer Faljar is calling upon dark, forbidden magics in an attempt to banish the spirit to Helheim, and if he succeeds, our trial will be lost. We must do everything in our power to stop this from happening, but unfortunately, we fail.
No! This power! It's too strong!
I would see you banished before I allow you to grant judgment to an outsider.
No! You can't!
I can. You have sealed your fate, Shield Maiden. You and this outsider. Enjoy your eternity of damnation. Helheim awaits!
Helheim is a domain ruled by Helya. Being here amongst the spirits of the dishonorable is not a great place to be. We set out to meet up with Helya in an attempt to convince her to let us go back to the living world, but here it is where we find the Banshee Queen herself.
Remember our bargain, Banshee. Do not dare cross me.
What have we here? Another one of Greymane's mercenaries? No matter. Soon you will witness the birth of a new age. If you ever make it out of here, that is.
Sylvanas has somehow found her own path into Helheim, but it's unexplained how she did this, while the details of the bargain made with Helya, they're also kept in the dark. We can see that she obtained a lantern called a soul cage, which has the power to compel the soul of any being, but what is it that Helya wanted in return? Sadly, that's a story which seems to be cut out, but Sylvanas goes out to use her lantern, while we're stuck in Helheim with having to find our own way out. Helya makes us a deal as well. To entertain her, she challenges us to fight with her pet, and if we win, we get to go. Of course we win, earning our freedom, as well as Ashildir's trust, something that will come quite handy later on. Back on the surface, members of the Alliance are called over to Grey Watch to meet up with Greymane. Forsaken troops in the area, they're cooking up some blight, so we're sent to destroy it before they overtake us. We're also dealing with an apothecary, providing them with plague. We also search for scouting orders, which may help us pinpoint Sylvanas' objective in the area. We do just that, and we find out that Sylvanas is after something is called Ashil, a very cool town not far from Grey Watch, but we still don't know exactly what she's after. Perhaps the answer can be found in Skald Ashil, so we fly out, while Greymane will muster the fleet to assault the Forsaken outpost. This is what the Horde encounters in Stormheim. They're summoned by Nathanos as Greymane attacks. Heroes are asked to fire some of the Forsaken catapults, kill a few of the Worgen troops, and blow up the ship that Greymane is shouting from.
I'll reduce this camp to rubble if I have to! Sylvanas! Come and face your executioner!
Nathanos believes that there's no way Greymane could have survived that destruction, so with the outpost secured, the Horde travels to Skald Ashil to carry out Sylvanas' mission, and there they encounter the Banshee Queen herself, who's not pleased that her troops have been unable to secure the vault or even the town. A change of tactics is in order. Our goal lies within the vault, so we have to figure out how to gain access. Sylvanas doesn't have time to explain the details, just know that it is vital to the Forsaken that we succeed. Engraved upon Vrykul shields in the village is the story as to how the Shield Maidens, they undergo some trials to prove themselves worthy of entrance into the vault. There, they're judged by Aegir, and if found worthy, they're turned into the Valkyr. This means that Aegir has the power to create more Valkyr, and considering that Valkyr keeps Sylvanas out of hell, as well as granted the ability to create more troops, this is something that would secure the future of not only Sylvanas, but the Forsaken as a whole. This is also something that from the Alliance point of view can absolutely not happen. Both factions are told to become the next descendant, and for this we have to collect Aegir's helm, pauldron, spear and shield, commune with the statue of an ancient champion of Skald Ashil, and bring down the barrier. As luck would have it, this ancient champion is actually Ashildir, Aegir, the same Ashildir that we parted with in Helheim, and she was the one who once upon a time brought the shield maidens to Skola Shield.
What is this? The hero of Helheim seeks entrance to the vault? I know your worth. I will grant you an audience with Aegir. You may proceed, but know that Aegir may not regard you as I do. Seek your fate in the vault, champion. May Aegir be your wings.
The path is open for Sylvanas to claim her prize, while Greymane quickly goes after her in an attempt to stop her.
Storm the vault for Gilneas!
Treacherous banshee! You know not what you are meddling with!
Submit. The Valkyr are mine.
Sylvanas, your quest for immortality has left you vulnerable. I will have my vengeance! For Varian! For Gilneas! For my son!
It seems I overestimated you. Old wolf.
You took my son's future. And now I've taken yours.
Greymane got his revenge for what went down in the Broken Shore and what she did to his city and most of all his son. He will need time to heal from the poison, while Sylvanas regrets that they underestimated Greymane's tenacity. But Aegir cannot hide for long. Unfortunately, the next part of their story plays out by taking certain towers, which are of vital importance. That's pretty much the conflict between the Alliance and the Hordes, Sylvanas and Greymane during Legion. This might be because part of the Bench Queen story didn't make it in. When you check out the official Legion website, you'll find the character descriptions for some of the major players in Legion. Amongst them are Sylvanas and Anduin. For Sylvanas, it says that as her fate edges closer to the abyss, Sylvanas must decide how far she'll go to protect her people, and whether they're more precious to her than her soul. As far as I can tell, that never really played out, while Anduin's description says, but diplomacy has its limits, and some villains cannot be reasoned with. As the Burning Legion threatens to annihilate Azeroth, Anduin will learn the true cost of peace, and whether he's willing to pay it. Another character development that I couldn't recall, but I do remember the moment where we returned to the Broken Shore and we found Varian's compass, which we then returned to Anduin.
Be vigilant. I had this compass crafted for my father's birthday. I gave it to him a few months before my ship ran aground on Pandaria. A lifetime ago. Since this war with the Legion began, I've barely had a chance to think, or breathe, or to mourn. Perhaps it's time to change that. Thank you for bringing my father's compass back to me. It is a reminder of how much I miss him.
The very next day, Captain Schwader of the Stormwind Royal Guard, he's waiting for us at Deliverance Point. Our presence has been requested by the Royal Court since the Crown has urgent need of us. Greymane is anticipating our swift arrival.
Our guest arrives. Perhaps now there is hope of reaching the king.
Anduin is nowhere to be seen, and he hasn't been the same since we brought him his father's compass. He's become listless, distracted. Yesterday morning, he left the keep without so much a word. The Royal Guard has been ordered to follow him to the cathedral, where he has gone to pray, and since we're the ones who brought this melancholy upon him, Greymane believes that we must convince the boy to resume his duties.
Anduin refuses to eat or sleep. He ignores every plea to return to the palace. Nothing I say seems to offer comfort.
I understand the need to mourn, but the king's place is on his throne. The Broken Shore must be our focus. Convince Anduin to end his vigil.
At the cathedral, we find the king, who wonders if Greymane is more concerned about his well-being or keeping up appearances that everything's normal. We accompany the king as he disguises himself and walks the street of Stormwind to learn whether it is hope or fear that beats in the heart of his people.
Since you brought my father's compass back to me, I've prayed to the light for guidance, and to know his spirit is at rest. The light doesn't answer. My people like me, respect me, but they don't believe in me. Not like they believed in him. I've heard the voice of the people, but how do my father's advisors feel? I fear they do not trust me as they did my father. I must know. It seems Genn and Velen are speaking about me, but I can't quite make out the words.
The young king will become a great leader. I have foreseen it.
Visions don't win wars, Prophet. The boy has a good heart, but he's untested.
The light is strong with Anduin. He will grow into his crown. We must have faith.
We need more than that, and so does he. Anduin wasn't there on the Broken Shore. He hasn't seen the sacrifice his soldiers made, that they continue to make. A king must know the weight of the orders he gives, the price of them. If a compass breaks his spirit, how will he respond when the war arrives on our doorstep?
Anduin believes that they're right. They're absolutely right. The time has come for him to leave the safety of the keep and travel to the Broken Shore himself to see the place where his father died. If he is going to be the king that his father was, the king Stormwind deserves, then he has to know firsthand the threat that his people face. We inform his advisors that he's gone, since they only try to stop him, and we accompany him as he observes what is going on. The land is far worse than he'd imagined. The very ground we walk on is paved with the bones of our allies. Time and time again, he has watched from afar as heroes of Stormwind fought and died to preserve peace on Azeroth.
I have lived my life, sheltered by the blood of heroes like Tyrion and Bolvar. Heroes like my father. The time has come for me to do the same. Take me to the place where my father died. I must see it for myself.
There's one last place to visit, the place where his father died, so that he may honor his sacrifice.
Here. This is where his father fell.
The boy has never known the horrors of the Legion, as we have.
No. I haven't.
Anduin.
How could you just leave?
I had to come here.
My boy, you don't need to see this.
You never surrendered. Even here, at the very end. I cannot do this, Father. I can't be the hero you were. I can't be the king you were.
Anduin, your father's actions were indeed heroic. They were his challenge to us, his people, to never let fear prevail, even at the very gates of hell.
What am I supposed to do now?
What a king must do.
Anduin picks up Charlemagne as he prepares himself to step into his father's shoes and lead the Alliance. The story of Legion would continue without Genn's involvement, ending with Sargeras being imprisoned at the Seat of Pantheon, but not before leaving Azeroth with a little present. Of course, Battle for Azeroth has not been released yet, so we don't know for certain what the story is going to bring, but we do have some clues, which might be spoilers, so if you're not interested in spoilers, then this will be the time to turn off the video, since you now know Genn's story. For those that are staying around, Christie Gul'dan is working on a book called Before the Storm, and last BlizzCon they handed out a small preview. In it, amongst other things, we read about Sylvanas telling Nathanos that she will soon call upon the brave fighters of the Horde for another battle. The one that they both longed for, namely Stormwind. Now it's unknown why they're setting their eyes on Stormwind, but considering it's a battle that they're both longing for, it's reasonable to assume that it has something to do with what happened in Stormheim. Neither have any love for the faction, for the old wolf that stopped her from enslaving Aeir, so it could very well be that Greymane is their target. Besides that, we also know that the Horde is going to burn down Teldrassil. Details as to how or why are not known, but the Alliance is going to respond with the Siege of Lordaeron. That battle is shown in the cinematic, Anduin and Greymane side by side on the battlefield, and we're going to join them. We'll jump in right at the end of the cinematic, on either the Horde or the Alliance side. Alliance will claim victory, and that's pretty much all we know about the future of Genn. It's difficult to say what the story is going to bring him. They've made it pretty clear that he has no problem with seizing the opportunity to strike out at Sylvanas and the Hordes. A single shared goal does not erase the atrocities committed by the Forsaken, so even when working together at the Broken Shore, he remembered what they had done. So I imagine that in the Battle for Azeroth, he's going to be at the forefront of the war against the Horde. He is going to be a voice of fury, wanting to strike out with a massive history to support his anger. Will that lead to his demise, back to Gilneas, victory, or perhaps a completely different path? That is something only time will tell, but for now, this is the end of his story. From a man thinking that he could do it all on his own, to losing it all and discovering that sometimes taking a hand is not a bad thing. The strong bond between him and Varian with the Chosen of Gul'dan, to losing the High King of the Alliance and now standing at his son's side during a time of great war. I can't wait to see what's going to come next, but for now, thank you very much for watching everyone. I hope you all had a fantastic new year and that 2018 is going to be absolutely amazing. Until next time guys, see ya!